Hi, Saria.
Hi, Freddie and Josie. It's so nice to meet you face to screen and get to actually put a face to the name.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm excited to get to know a little bit about you and what you're looking for.
Awesome.
Okay, great. You guys look nice and cuddled up in your home, so I'm glad that we're still able to get to see each other and feel each other, and I'm excited. So,
Yeah, this
it's
is
okay with
totally different for us too.
yeah. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to jump right on in. So just a little bit of background. The reason that we like to do these consultations, even more so now, is we want to make sure that we're using your time as appropriately as possible. We want to make sure that we're saving your time as much as possible. Right now, with everything that's going on, we want to make sure you're going to go see as few homes as possible because we want you to stay safe. We want you and your family to be healthy. So we don't want you to go and look at dozens of homes that you would have never bought in the first place. So I'd rather ask you 500 questions and show you 5 homes than ask you 5 questions and show you 500 homes. Saving time and your family's health is important to you, right?
100%. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad we're on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you 500 questions, but we are going to get a little bit deep. I want you guys to think about things that you probably haven't thought about before. So be as honest with me as possible so that I can help you the best that I can. Deal?
Okay, deal.
All right. Awesome. So what is prompting your move?
Well, I think we're just looking for a bigger space. I think that, we just want to like expand. We have 2 dogs. We have Saria, who's our 9-year-old, and she loves the outdoors. So we're really looking for a single family home with a pool. Obviously, we want the area to be, a good area. We want good schools. That's extremely important to us. But yeah, we kind of outgrown our place now, and we just want more space.
Okay, awesome. And just so you know, when I'm looking down, I'm taking notes. Don't think I'm not listening to you, okay?
Okay.
Well, listen, I know I've spent so much time in my pool during this time, so I definitely understand wanting to make sure you've got a pool in your next home.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about price range and where you guys are comfortable. Have you already spoken with a lender?
Yes, we have actually. We had a conversation with someone from First Choice Financial,
Awesome.
and they say that we can go ahead and do anywhere from 300 or 400,000.
Okay, perfect.
Obviously, we'd rather stay on the lower end of the spectrum just for budget purposes. But I think if you find the perfect home, we can get a little bit closer to 400.
Okay, great. So would you say it's fair to say that if it's closer to 300, you're more willing to do some updates, and if it's closer to 400, you'd rather it be a lot more move-in ready?
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about what move-in ready looks like for you. Does that mean that it's updated, or does that mean it's clean and functional?
For me, it means that it's updated.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't necessarily use the term upgraded. I mean,
Okay.
I think, turnkey, you can go in and there can be upgrades that can be made,
Right.
in the short term. This is something that we're going to be living in minimum 10, 15 years, hopefully a lifetime. So if it can be a good deal, good balance, and we can do some upgrades down the road, then that would work for us.
Okay, great. And then, so if it was already updated, do you guys tend to lean more towards the whites and the grays, or do you prefer more of woods and traditional? What's really your style?
I would say whites and grays. And I mean, I don't mind a little touch of traditional. I just don't want an outdated house, especially like if we're gonna go into the 400,000 range. I just kind of don't want to do too much. Maybe paint is okay. Maybe removing a carpet, but I don't want to have to redo my kitchen or put in new floors. Like I kind of want it to be updated in a sense.
Okay, I can tell your home just from the little bit that I can see is very modern as well. So we're trying to kind of carry that into your new home as well.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. It looks beautiful. I love the striped wall.
Thank you.
So how long have you guys been looking for a home?
Not long, probably like a month, right?
Okay.
And then yeah, just like a month.
Yeah, being quarantined definitely kind of makes you realize what kind of space you have. So yeah, it hasn't been too long.
Awesome. We're definitely getting a lot more calls now of people. They're realizing things that they want in their home or things that they want in a quarantine. So we're getting a lot of those calls. So in a perfect world, when do you want to be in your new home?
For us, we're right now running into kind of the second quarter. I would say probably in the beginning of the fourth quarter would be a good time. 3-4 months.
I would say in the summer, probably, just right after school is done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Josie wants to move into the house first, get a couple months to herself, and then Freddie will move in later.
That sounds like Freddie wants to move in the summer as well.
Josie's ready for the pool. I love it. That's awesome. So what would it look like if you didn't find a home before then? What would happen?
I'm so sorry. My dogs are growling at each other. Guys.
That's okay. Mine's licking my feet. Don't worry.
I think that, we'll be fine. We're not going to kill ourselves.
Well, that is pretty. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not. I mean, it's not. We would want to. I think it's that time.
Yeah, I definitely want to be in our new home before the new school year starts. I don't want to move after school starts.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you, is the home you're currently living in, is that a rental or is that a home that you own?
This is a home that we own.
Okay. When you spoke with First Choice Financial, did they tell you if you needed to be able to sell your home before you could buy?
Yes. Yeah, we need to sell the property.
Got it. Okay, great. And that's something that we can talk about as well, as how that transition looks like and what you guys can expect from us for that. Because the reality is that it can be very difficult to get an offer accepted on your home if you have to sell your home and it's not on the market or it's not sold.
Yeah.
That will probably be the first part of the process. But what's the most important is making sure you guys know there's somewhere for you to go. The last thing I want is you to list your home, get it under contract, then go do a search for what you're looking for and see that it doesn't exist, and then you're stuck, right? So that's why this piece is so important, so we can make sure that what you're looking for is attainable, and then we can start the process of going on the market and selling your home. How does that sound?
Yes, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So are you guys looking for a single family townhouse? What are you looking for?
Well, I rather have like a 1-story ranch, something it's a little bit different. But I think the areas that we're looking in offer that a little bit more, which would be Plantation, Davie, Sunrise, somewhere around there.
Yeah, definitely more west, in Broward County, 1-story, with a pool. I definitely want a large driveway. That's super important to me. I entertain a lot. So I want my guests to be able to park in front of the house. I want it to be convenient for them. Right now, our setup is that they have to go to like guest parking and then walk over here. So that's important to me.
Okay.
What else?
Barbecue space in the back. That's all I need.
So you guys like to spend a lot of time outside, it sounds like.
We do.
So then let's talk for a minute about the backyard, if that's okay. So I know that you guys want a pool and you want a barbecue space. Now, sometimes that space takes up the whole yard. So is that a space that would work for you? Or are you also looking for some green space for maybe a play set for Sadia or some room for the dogs?
I would want a little green space. It's not a deal breaker though. We can take the dogs out for a walk. But I would like a little green space so that the dogs can go out back.
Okay.
But if it's just pool and barbecue, that's good with us too.
Okay. All right. That sounds fair. Awesome. So now both of you guys mentioned 1-story. So would you say that 2-story is completely off the table? You would only consider 1-story homes?
For me, yeah. For me, the way that I see it, the kind of property that I would like, I don't necessarily see a 2-floor.
Okay. I'm going to ask the question a little bit differently. Okay. So what if your master bedroom was on the bottom floor, but you had other bedrooms on the top floor? Would that work, or it's still a no-go for you?
That would not work for us.
Okay, great. So we're going to focus on 1-story.
Yeah, I think the only way that we would look at a 2-story is if the second floor was kind of like a loft or den, but we definitely don't want any bedrooms on the second floor.
Okay, so only if it was like living space up there?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay, perfect. So will it just be the three of you guys living in the home, or will you be taking in any other strays?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the possibility that we have one of our parents that may be moving in with us in the near future.
Okay.
So space-wise, we would be looking for an additional room. We currently have 3. We would most likely be looking for a minimum of 4.
4 plus. Okay. And would 2 bathrooms work on a 1-story, or are you looking for more than 2 bathrooms?
I think 2 bathrooms would kind of be a minimum for us.
Okay.
The master bath, there's a guest bath. That's going to be fine.
Okay.
It would be great if there's like if it's a 2.5 or something like that.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So tell me, what do you like about your current home that if you could, you'd like to recreate in your new home?
I love how modern it is. I like our colonial baseboards. I like the finishes. I love the high ceilings. I think it makes the biggest difference. And I like how many windows we have. I love opening up windows in the morning. I need sunlight. That's extremely important to me. And I didn't mention this, but I would not want the house to face east. So I either want the house to face north or south, just because I don't want sunlight directly hitting the home, if that makes sense.
Of course.
So I would say that's like, I love that about the house. I like how the open concept too.
Okay.
Our kitchen island overlooks our entertaining space, like our living room. And I love that because, you know, when we have gatherings, it's just easy to multitask. Like I get to, you know, do my thing in the kitchen and also pay attention to my guests.
Okay, so in your next home, since you're looking to upsize, are you looking for an open concept in like the family area and maybe another separate living space? Or would you, if there was a living room and family room, would you want that all still in one space?
I could have like a formal living room in a separate space, but I would like the family area to kind of be open concept. I wouldn't want my kitchen closed in. That would be a deal breaker.
Yep, same here.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Now, you did mention that at $300,000 you would be willing to do some renovations. So let's say everything else about the house was great. You had the perfect yard, the driveway, everything except the kitchen was closed off and needed to be remodeled and could be opened up. Would you consider a job of that size, or would that be a deal breaker?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's able to be made like modernized.
Okay.
Without having to dump too much.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So tell me now, what don't you like about your current home that you want to make sure you don't have in your new home?
I would say the stairs are kind of sucks. Like the dogs they just go up and down. They're always playing around in it. What else would you say?
Space in the back.
The space in the back, like we really wish we had a pool. We have a community pool, but it's kind of different. Like if we want to go for a swim at night and we have guests, like our pool closes at dusk. So it's like, we just want more space in the back, obviously.
Okay. All right. That sounds fair. Anything else you guys can think of?
Garage?
Yeah, I mean, we have a single car garage right now. It would be nice to have a minimum of a 2-car garage.
Now, you said it would be nice. Does that mean that's not a deal breaker? Would you do a 1-car, or would you want a 2-car in the next home?
I think we would want a 2-car.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely would want a 2-car.
Okay, awesome. Now, you also mentioned that schools were important. Are you trying to keep your daughter in the same school, or are you trying to move into a new school district?
Yes. Well, right now she's in an A school. We love it. It's important for us, the ratio of students in a classroom, and we've just based on our own research, we've noticed that A schools have, less number of students in the classroom, and that's just the way that my daughter excels. So that's extremely important. I would not want to keep her where she's in now. If we move, I definitely want her to be at the school that, pertains to that community. We're both working parents. So, taking her driving out of our way to a new school would be kind of difficult for us.
Okay. No, I totally understand that. So now it sounds like you guys have done the research, and that's great. So what I would like for you guys to do is to put an email together for me of schools that you are acceptable to you for Sadia. So
Okay.
that way I can base your search parameters on those school limits. Okay. That because what a good school to you might not necessarily be a good school to me. So I want to make sure that this search is fine tuned to exactly what you're looking for. Because the last thing I want is you to fall in love with a house and then find out it's a school district you would never want her to go to. And then you'd be stuck between making that decision. And I don't want you guys in that position. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, great. So I'll wait for that email from you guys. And then as far as the size of the home, I know you guys are looking to upsize. What type of square footage are you guys looking for in your new home?
I think minimum 25.
Okay. What do you guys have now? Just curious.
2000.
Like 2200.
Yeah, like I think it's like 2100. We definitely want like 25 for sure.
And is that counting the garage or is that just under air, the 2100?
Under air.
Okay. So you're looking for 2500 plus under air.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And what about, are you looking to be in a community with an HOA or do you prefer no HOA?
So
It's like your deal.
yeah, for me, ideal would be no HOA.
Okay.
Just so I feel like it's a little bit more free than being under an association. However, there's value in HOA. I understand that we currently have one for continuity and things like that. So if there is one, I would want one that's not number one, too expensive or too overwhelming when it comes to their bylaws and things like that. So for me, ideally, it would be no HOA. If we have to have one that would maintain property values, but that isn't going to tell me whether I can barbecue on Saturdays or not.
Oh gosh, I totally understand that. So now if it is an HOA, are you guys open to a community that's gated or do you prefer no gate? Does that not matter to you?
If I'm going to pay for an HOA, then I'm going to want security to be part of it. So
Yeah.
if there's a gate, great. If there isn't, I would really kind of have to see the value proposition that the HOA is presenting.
Yeah, because sometimes the community's beautiful and you can tell where they're using the money. And sometimes you can't.
Correct.
I totally understand that. Okay, awesome. So what about a water view? Would that be a bonus for you guys?
Yeah, that would definitely be
That would be a bonus.
Okay, great. And the type of water, does that matter? Like, would you be open to a narrow canal or would that be more of a hindrance? Would you only want like wide water?
Yeah, I think I would only want wide water, if any water. I don't want to be in a canal. I feel like we'll have a lot of mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a canal, I'd just rather have no water.
Okay, great. And I know you did mention that you have the dogs. Are you looking for a home that's already fenced, or if you're able to fence, would you be willing to put up a fence?
I mean, if the home is already fenced, that would be great. But if not, we can fence.
Okay. We just want to make sure that you can, because there are some communities that don't let you.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely want to make sure. Okay, perfect. Is there anything that I missed?
No, I think pretty much covered all.
I also don't want an old roof.
Okay.
I don't want to go through those.
Define what old is to you. Meaning, let me ask differently. How many years left do you want on the roof?
Like at least 10. I would say, right?
Sorry to interrupt. I would say for the price point that we're in, if we're going to be staying closer to the 300,000, and I know that that's going to be somewhat of a challenge in the market, in the areas that we're going to be in, I'm okay with 5+, knowing that in the next couple of years, because at the end of the day, I also understand that for me to get a good deal, or what we feel that's a good deal, there might be some risks that I have to take where it comes to, like you said, maybe some upgrades. Maybe the roof is something the seller doesn't want to go ahead and change in the near future, and that's why we're getting a better price or something like that. But I would say at least 5 years so that we can kind of get ready for that, because that is a big chunk of change.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, whatever he said.
Okay, perfect. So now what we've just talked about, this is your perfect house. If we could build it, if we could draw it, this is what it looks like. Now what I want to talk about is your must-haves. These are your non-negotiables. If the house doesn't have it, you're not buying it. In any specific order, what would you say those are?
I would say the house has to have a pool, has to have a 2-car garage, has to have hurricane impact windows. And
You're
Wait, hang on. Freddie's thinking about that one.
Yeah, I just know the budget that we're in. So, all right, so the kitchen that can be opened up and then you don't have that open floor plan, I think that would be the most difficult thing to overcome. Just
Okay.
because floor plan wise, if we don't have an open floor plan.
So open or ability to open at right price.
Correct.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker. You're right.
So are we not putting the impact windows on there, or are we?
That's expensive, I feel like.
You're going to pay retail for that. In my opinion, I think we're going to be, anyone selling, I think is going to want to overprice their house a little bit because of that. I'd rather almost take on that project later on.
What do you think?
So, I mean, it depends. Some people are steadfast that it needs the impact. Usually when they've gone through the pain of paying for it themselves, then they want to make sure that it's in the new home. Other people just say, I just want some type of hurricane protection. Some people say, I just don't want the panel shutters. I only want accordion shutters and windows. I'll deal with either of those.
Okay, so now that you mentioned that, I'd be okay with shutters. Like if it's the perfect house and it doesn't have hurricane impact and they have shutters, like I guess that'll work.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Anything else that you can think of that is a deal breaker? I would say fence or ability to fence.
That fourth bedroom with the family member that we have is definitely something that needs to be there.
Okay.
And the school district would be a deal breaker.
Okay. So make sure you get me that list.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So this is really, really helpful. I think I've got a really good understanding of what it is that you guys are looking for. So typically the next step that we were going to take is we would do a search together so that we would see exactly in real time what is available based on what you're looking for. So what I'm going to do is after this call, I'm going to do that search and I'm going to send it to you. Now, this initial search is going to have more options than any other time I'm going to send you properties because I don't want to do too much of the eliminating in the beginning. I want to make sure that I understand what it is you're looking for.
Okay.
So when you look through those, I want you to give me very detailed feedback. Trust me, they're not my house. I didn't buy it. I didn't build it. I won't be offended about any of this. I just want to make sure that I truly understand what you like and what you don't like. So don't just tell me why you like a home. Also tell me, well, what we don't like about this one is X, Y, and Z. Okay, so the more information you give me, the better this process will be for you guys, especially in a virtual situation. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So now what I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I did send you this in an email as well, so you could pull it up on your side. Otherwise, we can just go through it here. Can you guys see it okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So what I want to go through first is the whole home buying process so that you guys know exactly what to expect along the way. You guys have a few more minutes. You have time to go through that with me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect. You don't have anywhere to go?
No.
You got me.
Awesome. All right. So the first step is selecting a realtor. That's me. You guys already did that. So you guys are in a good position. Your second step, which you've already done as well, is getting financial pre-approval. So you guys are ahead of the game. And your third step is where we are right now in your buyer consultation. The next thing is what we just talked about, where I'm going to do that search for you guys and you're going to go through those properties and give me as much feedback as possible. And what I'm going to ask from you guys is that you narrow that down to your top 5, maybe your top 7, because if those are your favorites, they're probably someone else's favorites too. So those are the ones that we really want to focus on and make sure that we're spending our time going to see first, because you don't want to buy one of your backup houses. You want to buy the main house. You want to buy your favorite house. So we want to make sure that you're very, very strict on those homes that you pick for that top 5 to top 7. Okay. You'll be able to, once I give you access to the portal, there's a little heart you can click on so you can hit favorite, possibility, or discard and really keep it all very organized for you and for me. And I'll be able to see that on my end as well.
Okay.
So the next step is going to view homes. And as you already know, the things are being done a little bit differently now. So we're doing a lot of things virtually. So there's certain sellers who are still showing their homes. in which case we do have to take extra precautions. We ask you to make sure that you're wearing a mask. We ask you to make sure that you're wearing gloves. Some of them will allow a realtor to go into their home. Many of them will not. So you guys will be doing a lot of showings on your own. I know this is a very different time in real estate, but we want to make sure that you're able to get in to see as many homes as possible. And we've got to go by this, what the seller's comfortability is. And that's going to be the same thing for you when you're selling your home. You're going to have some decisions to make on what's going to make you feel comfortable on who you're going to allow into your home as well. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So what sometimes we'll do is it'll be completely virtual. Either the seller will call us on FaceTime and walk you through the home. Sometimes they'll send you a video of their home and they want you to look through that video first to make sure it's truly a home that is a good fit for you before you go to see it. So each one's going to be a case-by-case basis. I promise we're going to do everything we can to make sure you can see it, whether it's virtually or in person, but you'll just have to ebb and flow with us because, again, it is based on that seller and their comfortability. Okay?
Okay.
So now when it comes time to choosing a home, I do want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable and know that me seeing the home has nothing to do with me being able to negotiate for you. Even prior to all of this going on, I actually did not go see homes either. I had a showing partner who would take you to go and see those homes. And of the 75 homes that I sold last year, I maybe saw 5 of them. So please know and feel confident that even though I'm not going to physically see these homes, that has no barring or no impact on me being able to negotiate the best deal for you possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So when you choose a home that you love, the next thing is going to be that I'm going to put together a market analysis for you on that home so that you can understand what that home is worth, why it's worth that. I will always give you my opinion. If you haven't learned that already, I have no problem ever giving you my opinion. So I will tell you what I believe you have to offer in order to get the home accepted. Now, there'll be some times where a home's been sitting on the market a long time. They have no offers on the table, in which case I'll get to put on my negotiation cape and get to try and negotiate a great deal for you guys. And then on the other side of that, there could be a home that just came on the market that's in a multiple offer situation, and you might have to offer full price, maybe over full price. As a negotiation specialist, that's where it gets tough for me because I so badly want to just be able to save you money. But what's important to know is that part of being a good negotiation specialist is understanding that the goal is still to get you the house. So even if that means I have to put my pride aside and save you guys and not be able to save you a little bit of money, but you get the home, that's the most important thing. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So once we put that together for you and you get to see what I suggest that you offer, the ultimate decision will be up to you. And whatever you decide, I will fight with everything I have to get that done. But again, I will always give you my opinion. So at that point, when it comes time to writing an offer, it's very important, especially with the terms that you guys are looking for. You're not looking for anything that's super out of the ordinary. You know, you're looking for something that's many people are looking for, a single family home in a good school district with a pool at a good price range with hurricane impact windows, right? This is what everybody is looking for. So more likely than not, you will be in a multiple offer situation. So what we do is we make sure that we set you up so that you have advantages to other buyers writing offers in a multiple offer situation. And one of them is simply by you working with us. Our team has been working in the area for over 20 years. So what that means is we have very deep-rooted relationships within the real estate community. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to say, hey, I like Saria and I like Lori, so let's take her offer. What that means is that they know that you're a buyer that I didn't meet at Walmart today and said, hey, do you want to go look at a house? You're someone who I've sat down with, who understands the home buying process, who's truly qualified, and who can get to the closing table. So they're more likely to give us information about what the other offers are on the table so we can make sure that yours is the best and that it wins the right way. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. The second way that we help you stand out is actually with First Choice Financial. As hard as it is sometimes to find a good realtor, it's even harder to find a good lender who works after hours, who's going to do everything to go above and beyond and answer your questions. So the lender that I've set you guys up with, First Choice Financial, They work in the evenings, they work on the weekends. And I actually intentionally have them call the listing agent after we submit an offer after 5 o'clock, because they are so blown away at that point that a lender's phone works after 5, that a lot of times they can help me seal the deal even before I can. So I'm so thankful that you guys took my advice and you spoke with this lender, because I do believe that they're going to be what helps us secure that property for you guys in the end, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So the third way that we help your offer stand out is my personal favorite. So I've tested out a lot of different things over the years being a buyer specialist to see what really helps my clients' offers get accepted. And what I've found time and time again works is what we call the cheese letter. And this is literally the cheesiest letter you have ever seen in your entire life that you've ever written, directly to the seller, telling them about what it was that you loved about their home. How when you drove up on the street, you could see your family coming over and trick-or-treating down the block. You could see having your Cinco de Mayo party in your backyard and your pool. Whatever it is that's going to make you come across on that paper, right? Because like I said, more likely than not, you'll be in a multiple offer situation. So for the seller, it can be very difficult when that happens, because the offers don't vary that much. Maybe one's got a little bit more of a deposit. Maybe one's got 2 days shorter of a closing date. But ultimately, everyone's looking at the same recent closed sales, and the purchase price and all that information is going to be very, very similar, right? So we want to find a way to make yours stand out, because as the seller, that can be very difficult to make a decision. They're just looking at these stacks of paper in front of them, and it's very hard for them to make a decision. What that cheese letter does is it humanizes your offer. It no longer makes it a stack of papers in front of them. It makes it a family sitting in front of them. We'll take the cutest picture that you guys have ever taken with Sadia and the pups, and we put it right on the letter. Now, some people think that this is a little too cheesy, but I promise you, I've had buyers who have won over on contracts when they were not the highest offer on the table, not the best terms on the table, because it mattered to the seller who was buying their home. So that's going to be your first part of your homework, is going to start that initial letter. Because when you find the home that you love, the last thing you're going to want to do is sit down and write this letter, because there's going to be so many things going through your head and you're going to be so excited. So write the initial framework about your family story and why you guys are moving. And then when you see a home, you're going to look around the house, see if there's anything you can connect with to put in that letter. Whether it's a sports team or it's the open kitchen that you guys are really looking for, whatever it is, so that they know that that letter was written specifically for them. You guys on board with that?
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
I have a feeling Josie's going to be the one writing this.
For sure.
Yes, pretty
100%.
I'm also feeling the same thing.
Awesome. I've actually got some samples as well. So if you guys need any of those, I can send those to you guys too.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So then the next step happens and we get your offer accepted. Yay!
Yay.
So then is when you start to freak out a little bit, right? You're going to have a couple times during the contract process where you're going to start to freak out and be like, oh my God, what's going on? We've been saving money for so long, and now we're trusting Saria to get all of this done, and we don't even really know her. We just met her on a computer screen. Like, what's going on, right? So when those moments of freak out happen, because it's not an if, it's a when, just pick up the phone and call me, because I can typically calm you guys down within a matter of 1 or 2 minutes to make sure you guys know that these feelings are normal and let you know exactly what is going on, okay? So the first thing that's going to happen after you go under contract is you're going to hear from our closing coordinators. So one of the best parts about working with our team is that you do actually get an entire team working for you. And that means that at every point in the transaction, you're working with a specialist who only does that in the transaction. So our closing coordinator, all they do is close transactions. They are going to set up your inspection, set up your appraisal, do all the communication with the title company. They're going to keep you in the loop every single step of the way. They're going to let you know everything that's going on, right? So that is going to become your new best friend, well, second best friend after me, right? So that you're going to stay very, very much in contact with them. The next thing that's going to happen is you're going to turn in your escrow money. Now that money is going to go into a title company. It's going to be completely protected there until closing. I don't have access to it. The seller doesn't have access to it, listing agent, etc. So that money will be completely protected there. You're most likely going to have to wire those funds or send over a check. And when it comes to wiring, you want to be very, very, very careful. There's so much fraud and hackers going on. So something that's very important is anytime that you're going to wire any funds, I want you to pick up the phone, not send an email, pick up the phone and call the title company to make sure that you have the correct wire information, read it to them, have them read it back to you so that you can confirm that it's all the accurate information. Do you guys, can I get a thumbs up that we understand that?
For sure. Yeah, we got that.
Super, super important. So the next step is going to be that if there is an association, you guys are going to want to apply to the association right away, because some associations will take up to 30 days and they will take up every day of those 30 days just because they can. So the last thing we want is your closing to get held up because your association approval hasn't come in yet. And most of the time we're writing contracts at 30 days. So it's very, very important that you set up that association application right away. The transaction coordinator will send you the association application. So we'll provide all of that for you. You just need to make sure it's filled out and get it turned in. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So the next step is the most important step in the entire contract process. So I want to make sure you guys are still with me. I know this is a lot of information at one time. You guys still here?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, good. So the next step is your inspection period. And this is your most protected time during the entire contract process. During this time, you are able to back out of the contract for any reason whatsoever with zero risk to your deposit. So that's really important to understand, because there could be times when a seller says you can't go and see their home until you're under contract, in which case I want you to feel comfortable doing that. Because if you write an offer and we go under contract and then they allow you to go see their home and you decide you don't like it, we'll still be able to get you out and your deposit will still be protected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So during that time, that's your time to do all of your due diligence. You want to drive around the neighborhood. You want whatever it is, go talk to the school, whatever it is that's going to make you feel confident in this purchase. That is your time to do it. Because if the grass is like this and you wanted the grass like this, during that time, I can get you out. Other than that, after this time period, it is much more difficult. And remember, all of this advice I'm giving you is to make sure that your deposit is protected, because that's the most important thing to me. And I'm sure to you too, right? So during that time, you're also going to have an inspection. You're going to have a full home inspection, roof inspection, and termite inspection. You're going to learn everything you ever wanted to know about the house and everything you didn't want to learn about the house. You're going to get a huge packet or email telling you everything that's wrong with it. Now, unlike your new home, you guys are not going to be buying new construction, right? So there's going to be normal wear and tear on a home. We are not looking for normal wear and tear during this inspection period. What we are looking for is major ticket items that affect the value of the home. That if you had known about these items, your offer would have been different in the first place, right? So roof, electric, plumbing, AC, mold, the big, big items. That's what we're looking for. There's going to be a sink drain somewhere that's low. There's going to be a window spring that's broken. You're going to have GFI outlets that don't work. Those are not things that affect the value of the home. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
So those are not the things that we're looking for. So once you get that inspection report, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a meeting for us to get on the phone together or get on a virtual meeting like this and go through that inspection report together so that we can determine what is a major issue, what is not a major issue, and come up with a negotiation strategy if we need to renegotiate a credit for you guys.
Okay.
When it comes to, yeah, go ahead.
Question, because we didn't have an inspection on this home. Well, because it was new construction.
Right.
But so how much time do we have between so when we schedule, like how much time do we have to get out of the contract from when inspection is scheduled, and let's say we are not okay, like it has mold or something?
Yep, that's a great question. So typically it depends on what we negotiate with the seller. Typically it's somewhere between 7 and 10 days. Most people are accepting 10 days at this point, but some people will want it a little bit more aggressive. Just know that even if it's 7 days, that time period is very doable. And the reason it's going to be doable is because you guys are going to choose your inspection company now. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But you can expect to spend somewhere between $400 to $600 on an inspection. Now that is for a general home inspection. If you are looking to get any type of additional inspections, let's say you want to get a leak detection test, which I would recommend, not through a general home inspection company. Let's say it's an older home, I would recommend a sewer scope inspection. Again, these are things that once we find the home, I will give you my advice as to what type of inspections I believe that you need. Now, what most people do is they do that general home inspection right away. And then if anything shows up as a little fishy or sketchy, then they hire a specialist at that point. Most people don't want to hire all of the specialists up front because it can get expensive. I'm the crazy one. I went bananas when it came time to buying my last home, and I spent over $2,000 on inspections because I know too much and I've seen too much. And I had so many inspections, my head was spinning, but that's what made me feel comfortable. So whatever is going to make you feel comfortable, that's what I want you guys to do. Okay. So when it comes to negotiating for the inspection, if we do find issues, there's a few ways that you can do it. One is you ask the seller to fix it. And unless it's a lender requirement and something that has to get done prior to closing, this is not what we recommend, right? Because they're just going to put a Band-Aid on it. They're not going to fix it the way you or I would want it fixed in our new home, right? So the second option is we ask for a purchase price reduction. And many people think that's the way to go. But the reality is, let's say we're talking about $2,000 or $3,000. If we reduce the purchase price by that much, we're talking about maybe $5, $10 a month in your mortgage payment. You're not physically getting the money to make the change, okay? So what we prefer instead and what we recommend is that you ask for a closing cost credit. That means that you've already got money set aside for closing. You're gonna bring then $2,000 or whatever the number is we decide on less to the closing than we originally quoted you. And now you can use that money to get it fixed and hire who you want after closing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's smarter.
Awesome. Okay, great. Again, I will coach you guys through that whole process, so please don't worry about that.
Okay.
The next big hurdle is going to be your appraisal. So an appraisal is when a third-party company is going to come out to the home that you don't know, I don't know, the lender doesn't know, completely unbiased opinion, and they're going to determine the true market value of the home in today's market conditions, considering the recent closed sales, the updates, the square footage, the lot size, etc. Now, most of the time we don't have an issue because we do so much of that work up front with that market analysis about what your home is worth, right? But sometimes there can be a challenge. And what a challenge looks like in an appraisal is, let's say we're under contract for $350 and your appraisal comes in at $345. That means the bank is only willing to loan up to $345. Otherwise, it's a bad investment for them, right? So we have to find a way to make up that spread. The first thing we're always going to do is see if the seller is willing to sell at market value. And sometimes they're willing to, sometimes they're not, right? So if they say that they're not willing to, then our option is either one, if you choose that you don't want to pay anything above appraised value, you can choose to walk away at that point. And even though that's outside of your inspection period, that is still part of your financing contingency. So your deposit is still protected, okay? If we want to find a way to make it work out, either we have to see if the seller will meet somewhere in the middle. So that would mean $1,000 or $5,000 we were talking about. So $2,500. That means the seller would come down $2,500 and you would pay $2,500 over appraised value, meaning on top of your down payment and on top of your closing costs, you would bring that to the table. If the seller said they weren't willing to do anything, you would have to come up the full way and you would have to bring $5,000 on top of your down payment and your closing costs to make that work. Now, you might be saying to me, why would I ever pay over appraised value, right? In some cases, it makes sense. I personally paid $10,000 over appraised value on my home because it was updated and I didn't have to do anything. It had impact windows. I didn't want to put them in. It had an updated kitchen. It had updated bathrooms. It had the pool that I wanted. The pavers were updated. It had everything I was looking for. So I was willing to pay $10,000 more because I knew I was going to spend way more than $10,000 on any other home that I was considering to make it look as nice as this home. So to me, it made sense. Now, if this is a house that needs a ton of updates, no, that doesn't make sense, right? Again, this is going to be a case-by-case basis. And if that happens, which I don't expect it to, but if it does, I will coach you through that as well. Do you guys have any questions about that?
So can we, let's say, you know, it's a bigger difference, more than 5,000. Let's say the difference is like, you know, 15, 20,000. Would we be able to get out of the contract then?
Absolutely. You're able to walk away at that point and your deposit is still protected.
Okay.
Okay. So, after, and you can expect to spend somewhere between $500 to $600 on an appraisal.
Okay.
And now what I want you to understand is the money that you're paying for your inspection and the money you're paying for your appraisal, that is also money on top of your down payment and on top of your closing costs. That is not money that you've already considered for those two items, right?
Okay.
So let's say we can't find a way to make it work out after appraisal. Your deposit is protected, but the money you paid for your inspection and the money you paid for your appraisal is not. That is your gambling money, right? That's your money to make sure that this house is what you want. This is what you're looking for. It's priced right. You're getting it for a good price, etc. That is your gambling money. So I want you to be prepared to gamble with around $1,000 to $1,200 for inspection and appraisal, should you not do any additional inspections, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So after that, it's pretty smooth sailing. You'll sign a couple extra documents for the lender, for the title company. But other than that, we are just waiting to close after appraisal. So the next thing that I wanted to show you guys is I'm including here a list of some inspection companies for you guys to go through. I want you guys to start doing that research now, because I want you guys to make sure that you know who that inspection company is that you're going to use right away, so that when the closing coordinator calls you to congratulate you, you can tell them who it is and they can book it right away. That way, if there are any additional inspections that you want to do, we have the time in your inspection period to do it. So your two pieces of homework are choosing your inspection company and writing your form of your cheese letter, okay?
Yes, and sending you that email. With
Yep, yep, exactly. Sending me the school email. All right, so this next thing here, these are 10 things not to do when you're buying a home or applying for a mortgage. So you're not going to change jobs, quit your job. You're not going to buy a car. You're not going to use your closing cost money to go buy new furniture. You're not going to open any credit cards, close any credit cards, not going to take any large sums of cash that you've got under your mattress and go put it in the bank. Basically, you're not going to do anything that's going to send up a red flag on your credit or your banking history. Those things are a no-no, and they can sometimes prevent you from buying a home for 2 or more years. So trust me when I tell you, take the time and look through this so that you are familiar with what things you should and should not be doing, okay? And again, you guys do have a copy of this in your email. Okay. The next thing in that document is a copy of the contract that we're going to use when we write an offer. The last thing I want is you guys to feel like your hands are tied behind your back and you're signing a contract that you have no idea what it says. So I'm giving this to you so you can start to get familiar with it, so that if you have any questions, you can ask me ahead of time. That being said, if you don't read it ahead of time, that's okay. I'm happy to go through it with you when you do write an offer on a home, but I just wanted you guys to have a copy of that for your records, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. And the last thing before you guys are released from class is I want to go over our VIP buyer agreement. And that's what you guys can see here right on your screen now. So this agreement, if you look through it, it's going to tell you everything that we're going to do that's over and above what every other realtor is going to do, and why you should hire myself and our team to represent you when you're looking for a home. If you look through it, it's going to show you that what we're asking of you guys is that if we're going to dedicate ourselves to you, that you dedicate yourself to us as well, and don't go cheat on us with any other realtors. And you will see, if you look towards the bottom of the agreement, we have a $400 flat fee commission that is not due unless we do our job. So unless I find you a home and successfully get you to closing, there is no fee for these services. All right, so I want you guys to take the time to review that. But just from what we've talked about, do you guys have any concerns or questions about that agreement or anything else that we've talked about today?
No, you've been so thorough. Like, I feel like I have you in front of me, honestly.
Okay.
So yeah, no, this has been great. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, great. So make sure you guys take the time, review everything I sent you, that VIP buyer agreement. Once you've had a chance to review it and you're good with everything, please just sign it and send it back to me. If you don't have any capabilities of printing and scanning, just let me know and I can send it to you to sign electronically as well in our virtual world. And if you guys need anything at all, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm going to jump off and I'm going to start working on your search so we can get that part started, because I know that's the exciting part, is really looking through those homes. And once you guys have had a chance to look through them, give me a shout out. We'll take the next steps and we'll start setting up for you guys to go look at homes.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Saria. This has
You're
been great.
so welcome. I'm so excited to get to help you guys and hug you one day in person.
Have a good day.
Bye.